August 21st, 2020, Thunderdome. The Thunderdome era is upon us. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Justin LaBar and Matt Morgan, here to talk about what it's like, the era of Thunderdome in WWE. We have fans participating virtually, their beautiful faces lighting up our screens, watching the wrestling action. It's a new set. It's got pyro. It's got lights. It's got excitement. It's got action. Matt Morgan, how did tonight compare to the Performance Center era for you?
I loved it. I freaking loved it, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, it looked good. You know, it's nice to have pyro back. It's nice, you know, they've created this arena. I mean, I thought visually it knocked it out of the park. There's little things I think that they will improve, as they always do, as they do this more with the audio in terms of like,
yes,
like I didn't feel like we got as much of the what I thought we would get, which is like babyface does something really good and you can feel some kind of pop from the, you know, and so I think, and the WWE, they will evolve. They'll figure it out. I mean, I'm sure SummerSlam will be even better than tonight with it, but visually it looks so much better than what we've had to see the last 5 months.
The production was a definite improvement. I did the Thunderdome tech rehearsal yesterday. I sat in on one match of that.
What?
They had a preview for the fans. So I was one of the. Yeah.
I knew it.
I wanted to see it a day early. I wanted to see what it looked like, and I saw myself on the little screen there, and I was like, "Oh, hey, that's me."
Were you wearing that sweet hat?
I was not wearing the sweet Rhythm Nation hat, unfortunately. I know I was wearing my Irish Finn Balor shirt. Yeah, it was cool to see, kind of get a preview for what it is. I think it's got potential. I don't think we saw the full potential of it tonight. There was a viral thing going around. A fan, I think maybe was trolling or legitimately fell asleep as he was on Thunderdome. He was on camera in bed. But I think that there was a lack of energy from the fans. It didn't feel like watching fans live watching wrestling. It felt like watching people watch TV or look at their phones. That's my one critique, is that we didn't get that animation, you know?
Yeah. Gotcha. Kevin Dunn said in an interview this week that they're going to use tonight, and then I guess even some practice tomorrow to try to get it as perfected as possible. So SummerSlam's the best. And Glenn, I don't know, Glenn, you tell me, one of the news items we had was an exclusive on Wrestling Inc. that gives people, that's a little more insight on how they're doing this virtual experience to the audience. If you want to do that now. Yeah,
let's talk about it.
So what we found out, and you can read about this in more detail on Wrestling Inc. It's exclusive, is that the virtual audience is rotating. So they are basically trying to rotate the fans themselves and where the fans are positioned every 15 to 30 minutes. They noted that there are moderators and basically people whose job is just to keep track and look at these fans. Obviously, if they're being very animated, if they're wearing merchandise, if they're acting the way WWE wants, then they're going to stay on longer and they're going to get more prominent positioning. It is a case of where if you do anything where that is, no go, like you can use your imagination. If they have a blocked list, they put your name and your email, and you will no longer be allowed to be part of the virtual audience.
What are you gonna do? Moon the camera? Like, seriously, what are they worried about?
Well, I mean, flicking it off, putting up an AEW sign, anything that they would move somebody in if the real audience was there, they would,
Oh my God, that would be hilarious if there was some like major league trolling happening at this.
Right. There is, and this is kind of what I think is probably standing in the way of what I was talking about with the sound. There is some kind of a delay. So as the programming on TV, so what we all watched on TV, we saw some of the action happen seconds faster than what the virtual viewer. So the virtual viewer was behind TV even. So you could kind of tell that, because there was times where something would happen or somebody would win, and it would take 5 or 10 seconds until you'd see anybody on the virtual screens clapping or reacting. So I think things like that are going to have to be figured out. But you can read all the deeper detail on Wrestling Inc. But about this, how they're pulling this off.
Yeah. I mean, so the process, Matt, it was actually similar to doing this podcast. I mean, you go there, you check your camera, you check your audio. It's got like a little guideline on the box where you're supposed to like put your upper torso. I thought they were going to do like some of the sports leagues have done and essentially take your image and like map it or cut it out and put it so it looks like you're in the stands. That's obviously not the case. But then once you're in there, the video was choppy. Like, this is not the way I would recommend watching wrestling, which I think is going to definitely create some issues with the fans. And as we could hear tonight, that wasn't the audio coming through. That was all canned audio, canned reaction, not the live audio of the crowd. So I think that, look, if this is just lip service and they're like, oh, hey, this is the way we're involving people, I don't think it's going to go very far. But if they get creative with it, I would like to see. I want to see people with signs. I want to see people doing crazy stuff. I mean, like you said, Matt, and I will tell you this: when you fill out the terms of service, they don't check your ID. It says sign here and sign. You don't have to sign your name. You can sign a name. I'm just putting that out there. So don't be afraid to get a little crazy with it. Hold up a sign that says like Wrestling Inc. Podcast #1.
Yes.
Let's have some fun with this. But I want it to look like Hollywood Squares up there. I don't want it to just look like a bunch of people sitting around in their bedroom or office watching the wrestling.
Yep, I agree.
So it can only get better. But tonight, hey, we opened up with Vince McMahon coming out, welcoming all of us to Thunderdome. He must be a really big Mad Max fan. No, he came out there, started welcoming the crowd, and then we didn't really get to say very many words before the power cut out. And here's the terrible thing. Right now we're in an era where first I was like, is it Retribution or is it The Fiend? It was The Fiend. Fiend comes out. Braun Strowman comes out, and when it looked like the Fiend was about to lick Vince McMahon or something, then Braun and the Fiend are staring down, and then Retribution comes out, and then the locker room pours out. So we just got everything in the opening of SmackDown tonight. They literally threw it against the wall.
Yep.
Too much, perhaps, Matt?
No, because when you amp something up and make it sound like it's going to be the coolest, newest thing in the world, can't wait till this happens, you got to throw that 95-mile-an-hour fastball right out the gut. And I thought they did that.
Yeah, they had a lot of hype going into this Friday with this whole thing and the fans. So you might as well throw your biggest stories out there. And here's the best thing that I thought. It actually, while they did throw everything out there, Glenn, everything actually did kind of make sense and flowed. So they said they pre-advertised that Vince was going to kick off the show. So that's an attraction whenever Vince is on usually. So then the Fiend, so then you hear and the Fiend's coming. Okay, the Fiend is the Fiend going to mandible claw Vince? What's going to happen? Then Braun comes. So now you had that stare off for this title match. Then Retribution comes, and then then the Fiend leaves Braun hanging, and then obviously the locker room has to come out. So I thought everything kind of flowed. I thought. I think the viewership is probably going to slide down. I mean, I think that's probably going to be the height of the 2 hours. Probably going to be that's opening quarter hour. But I thought it was great that they started that way, and rather than just giving me just a match, Vince
with the Fiend interacting more. I could have gone another beat to see that. That could have gone on another minute. The Retribution stuff, I don't think this was the best representation of it, but I want to see more of it. Basically because I want to see who's behind it. Now, everyone did note that when the locker room poured out, The Miz was last.
Yes.
The Miz was late tonight. How would you feel about that, Matt? The Miz being the ringleader of Retribution.
Say that one more time.
So The Miz was late coming out with the locker room.
So him being a leader, okay, that's a big name. All I'm asking for is a big name. I still want it to be Big E somehow. I want it to be Big E so bad.
Yeah, I noticed that, and they made a point to cut the camera and show him coming down the in this. I mean, it was like a solid 20 seconds at least after. So I'm not sure what that was supposed to be foreshadowing there, but
it's not. It's doing it to do exactly what you guys just said, just to get us to bite and give us a good little, twist. It's not really going to be him, but they want us to think it maybe. I don't know. And good for them.
Hey, Matt, I don't know if you took notice of this. I'm back to the Vince portion of things. When the Fiend is coming out, Vince, he took, back step as the Fiend stepped toward him, but the whole time as the Fiend's coming out, I don't know, should Vince have had more of a scared look on his face?
Yes.
He had no soul.
Yes. A monster's coming, Vince.
Yeah,
Run.
He just
scared.
He just no soul.
Hey, Vince.
Come on.
Vince signs the Fiend's paychecks.
No, there's no such thing as that. The Fiend doesn't know what paychecks are. Just like I told you from day one, Fiend shouldn't even know what a world championship title belt even is. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? He's a monster. He's not real.
Yeah. I was like, come on, Vince. At least with your face, sell some fear in your face,
Maybe he was. Maybe it was all that Botox. I don't know. We could.
I don't know. I think the Fiend and Bray Wyatt collect separate paychecks. They have different 401k deductions. Bray invests his 401k very conservatively. The Fiend, though, that's all over the place. That 401k is just a nightmare.
Again, he doesn't even know what a 401k is. He's a monster. Don't mess it up for me, guys.
I know. Well, they did a lot of that tonight. We'll talk about it with the Firefly Funhouse. There was some stuff to love, but Matt, I know there was some stuff that I'm sure made you angry tonight with how the show ended, and me as well. And we'll get into all that and talk about it. We got a couple super chats here. Dustin Eck, $5 saying, before we start, Matt, Justin, did you hear Nas's new album that released today?
No.
What kind of question is that, Dustin? Yes.
Look at that.
Yes. It's really good, but show you how old I am. It's been so long since I've gone and actually purchased an actual album or look up how to listen to music. God, I'm old. But I found my way, and this one's awesome. Really, really good. I suggest y'all get it.
You found your way.
Dude, I was all over my phone. I know
That's hilarious.
I sound like prehistoric here, but like it was weird. There's no like we talked about, no more going to Sam Goody, all excited to get one of the last tapes left, right?
Where's Tower Records when you need it?
Oh, I love Tower Records.
Yeah. Did you see the documentary? Did you see the documentary about Tower Records?
Yes. I used to buy my wrestling magazines from there, by the way.
Yeah. So yeah, in the book section, the magazine section, everything at Tower was the best, hands down. But no, Matt, speaking of old, I went through down a hip hop rabbit hole today. I was listening to some Funk Dubious, and then I was in the car for a hot minute running an errand, and I was like, I could go to listen to Chubby Checker and the Fat Boys, The Twist. So I was like driving around bopping to that.
Can I ask how that showed up at all in your playlist?
Huh? Well, no, I sought it out because I was thinking about it today. Well, Funk Dubious, I was thinking about. Strangely, I know the lyrics to a lot of Funk Dubious songs, and they were not good. I tweeted this today. Like, if you were judging rappers just on their ability to arbitrarily insert famous people's names into songs and rhyme them with people, like, Funk Dubious was great with that. It never made any sense. Like, it wasn't like a flow. It was always felt very forced. And then I was just thinking about the Fat Boys for some reason. I was like, I'm going to listen to the Twist. Which
nobody just randomly thinks about the Fat Boys. How did that come up?
I think about the Fat Boys often.
Remember their big movie?
Disorderlies?
Yes.
Opening night, baby. And they had the music video they did with Freddy Krueger. Ready for Freddy, it's Krueger time. The Fat Boys were on top of the world, Justin, before you were born.
Yeah, I'd say mine's not quite as obscure, but today I have an iPod that has over 3,000 songs, and today randomly on it as I'm driving in the car, the Humpty Dance came on, so I got down with that as I was driving.
Always worth it.
I like to get busy in a Burger King bathroom. It's my favorite line.
I made a reference to that once to someone, and they didn't know what I was talking about. They thought I was telling a real story from my life. And I was like, oh, you're so uncultured. I am Air 499. Lasers, more lasers. Vince remembered Shane's Trapper Keeper and said, we need lasers. Lots of lasers. There were a lot of lasers tonight. But the pyro looked cool. I mean, look, I like the new set a lot. I think it's just they got to figure out a way to incorporate the fans in a really compelling manner. Because I do think it could get distracting to try and watch a match with just that colorful mosaic behind it.
Listen, you'll get used to it like I have already with the NBA. The first game I watched, the NBA coming back, all I did was watch all the little squares.
Yeah.
That's all I focused on.
It does, seeing fans and then seeing some of them have motion, it does give WWE leeway to pipe in sound, and it doesn't seem weird because you are just your brain naturally associating it to the people that you're seeing.
I had no problem. If you remember when they sweetened the noises at first, do you remember when they did that?
Yeah.
I said that was a success. I thought that was very good. I don't need to see them. And if they can't control the cameras better, not to show the empty arena, it would have added more to it, and it makes those noises and the fan cheering, that crescendos that was happening. They kind of like let it go though, right? Like they tried it and they stopped doing it. It felt like it wasn't like what it was the first time they did the crowd sweeten noise.
Yeah, it wasn't consistent.
I thought they did a good job the first time they did it. I thought it added more to it.
I think it would almost be better with the virtual fan experience when you got on there. I'm sorry, Matt.
I think it was like Randy Orton versus Edge. I want to remember for some reason that match, it felt much better to have those noises in it for some reason.
I think it would almost be cooler if they just, instead of having the fans live the entire show watching it, had them show up for 10 minutes and said, okay, now act really shocked. Now give a big cheer. Now act really angry. And then they just hit buttons to cue up the different reactions and the noises during the show and keep it fresh. Anything. But we're not going to get real-time reactions, which is unfortunate, Justin, because you said like the delay. Krana Shah, $5 super chat. Mad respect to the almost 75-year-old Vince McMahon showing Gronk how to take a bump when he didn't have to. That footage has been going around from the WrestleMania documentary of Vince going off the ledge.
Yeah, off the perch.
Yeah.
Again, there's nothing Vince will ask a talent to do that he himself will not do.
And it's great too when you watch it because like he takes the bump, he lands on a crash pad, and then I gotta make sure my hands on the screen. He lands a crash pad, he looks up at everybody and goes, "See, like see how easy it is."
I would rather watch two hours of Vince McMahon just going about his day-to-day life than wrestling. I think it would be more entertaining.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Wrestling enthusiast Buck99. No food or drinks because of the company logos. That might make sense in terms of what they can't show on their webcam. There's a whole list of stuff. Basically, you have to wear WWE merchandise or stuff without logos. Which makes sense.
Wrestling enthusiasts, I can't believe you wasted $1.99 on it. Raj hates when I do this, for the record, for everyone watching. He hates when I say this to you guys.
Antoine Fair, $5 super chat. The only thing I think needed to get better was the crowd noise soundtrack.
Yeah.
NBA had the same issue when they started, but it got better.
Yeah, he's right. He's right.
Yeah, they got to find a way. It's almost orchestral, right? I think they can figure out a way to do it in real time and have it sound like a better fit. Let's see what else we got. Joey Adorjan, $5. I thought the Thunderdome was cool for 5 minutes. There were too many lasers and everything was too bright. I thought the overall SmackDown was just okay. I mean, the programming tonight, I think Jeff Hardy, pardon me, was a nice surprise, his win. But I mean, it did feel kind of like it was a better go home show than Monday was.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
It did a better job selling the matches Sunday than Monday did.
Sure. Bear Hudson, $5. There's talk that The Miz, Dominic Dijakovic, Tommaso Ciampa are supposed to be affiliated with Retribution, but they want the leader to be a huge name. I mean,
yes, I agree with that.
Yeah,
they should want a huge name to be the leader. All those talents would be great to be a part of it.
Yeah. Antoine Fair, $2. The Humpty Dance is your chance to do the hump.
Antoine,
do my baby, do the Humpty Hump.
Oh my good Lord.
Do the Humpty Hump.
Are you still there? Are you still there?
Okay. Let's see. Dustin Eck, $10. Wow, Dustin. Thank you.
All caps, Dustin.
DMX coming out with an album later this year. Can't wait. You listen to any of the new age rappers that are dope AF. Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Hopsin, Black M, etc. They're not on those whack mumble rappers. I'm not listening to a lot of current hip hop lately. I'm trying to think of the last new hip hop that I really listened to.
DMX, I'll get.
Yeah.
DMX is great lifting music.
He is right. There's a whole genre now of that mumble rap stuff, which is so annoying. It's like, Shawty gotta dance, Shawty got a chance. Just like it's just a mumble all the time.
Somebody loop that over a beat for me. No, I think I liked some of Drake's stuff when he came out. I liked Childish Gambino when he was doing more hip hop stuff. I still think Eminem's putting out quality stuff after all these years.
Why I hate Drake is because he's the biggest NBA frontrunner I've ever seen in my life. This dude shows up to any sports team that wins a championship with their jersey on and their game-winning game that they're playing in that day.
Yeah,
and he's the biggest turncoat on all of his teams. So I refuse to listen to him because of that.
There is a really good song though from 10 years ago with Drake, Lil Wayne, Eminem. Forever. Oh, I love that song. I
actually did a remix mashup of that over Shinsuke Nakamura's theme.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it actually fits perfectly over that. No, I think that Forever was awesome. And Kanye, I mean, if you could separate him from the person, Kanye has put out some really fantastic music over the course of his career. Even his recent stuff is really good, but it's tough sometimes to separate his persona from his artistry. So let's see. John Jordan, but $9.99. Credit WWE for trying something because we know they needed to. Still, story, characters, execution remain the not so secret sauce. So patience, right? Solid overall. Cheers, guys. Hope all's well. Thank you, John. Yeah, I mean, a hot story is better than any set redesign they could possibly do. And I feel like they're trying with the Retribution, man. This payoff. Here's the thing. I think what Retribution so far has kind of been weak, but if that payoff is good, it'll change everything.
Well, and so the speculation that, they have this tagline and Vince push it again at Sunday. You won't see it coming, and then Payback, a pay-per-view a week later. So there's the big speculation that something's going to happen in SummerSlam that's going to, because of Retribution, it's going to require a pay-per-view a week later called Payback. So yeah, I mean, at this point they've set themselves up. It's got to be. I mean, you know, I've heard everything from Roman Reigns to John Cena to, I mean,
you'll never see it coming.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense. Bryce Russo, thank you for $2.99 super chat. Matt, he's just tossed the money. Doesn't even have anything to say.
And I'm going to use that opportunity to say I now have the leader. It's going to be Roman Reigns.
Would be good.
I mean, you know, the fact they're in the Amway Center, at least you can space out, and there can be, you know, it's more cleaning protocols. I mean, if this would be the chance to try to get him to feel comfortable, safely come back in the environment, for sure.
I don't even think the leader has to be there at first. I think the leader can be like
from via satellite somewhere.
Yeah,
talking smack what he's done.
Yeah, send in a VHS tape. Here are my demands. Something. Antoine Fair, $2 super chat. Matt, I only send the super chats to pop you, LOL. So there you go.
Thanks, Antoine.
And Leonza Duncan, $2. Did Retribution actually look like a threat for once? I thought tonight they looked the least cool they've looked.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why.
There's been lots of moments to choose from of them being least cool. I don't know. I thought they picked different people this time, and they look bigger again. I don't know.
They were bigger, and what I'll be curious to see how they explain whenever we start to at least get the key people unmasked.
Yeah.
Is how do they, you know, they like tonight, I think Cole or Graves, one of them said on commentary, there's more of them now than there's ever been. Like, so how do they explain who all like the minions are? Like, are those other wrestlers that's been under mask that have a gripe against WWE that have given, you know, like I'll be curious how they explain that. Like Dark Order at least just explains it as just like minions. that are part of the cult, right? So yeah, I'll be curious how they explain this one.
Maybe they're getting that Dark Order overflow. You know?
Next?
Oh wait, that's C-Spanta video $2.99. I think it's Miz. He was late to the ring tonight. But Matt, to your point, I think you're right. I think it's a red herring with the Miz. So the first match of the Thunderdome era tonight was Big E versus Sheamus.
We haven't even gone over the first match yet?
Well, because we were talking, Matt, Thunderdome really needs a good hour to unpack all of Thunderdome. And we did it in 20 minutes. We unpacked Thunderdome. So now Big E versus Sheamus. Big E getting a win.
Oh. Yes, I should hope so. He's getting a monster push.
Yes.
Yeah,
good for him.
Good.
Absolutely. After that, he stood tall. Oh, and all the wrestlers were out on the outside of the ring during this. And a brawl broke out at ringside. Big E got that win. Tucker Notice entered the ring to dance with Big E as Sheamus fumed on the ramp. Lucha House Party tonight for the SmackDown Tag Team titles versus Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. Matt, how big of a bet did you place on Lucha House Party becoming the tag team champions tonight?
I did not. I would have lost.
Shocking. So, of course, Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura won. This was an okay match, though.
Yeah. I don't like Lucha House Party. Sorry.
Well, I do. It was a good match. I'm curious though by what happened after the match. They're teasing the breakup between the three of them. So
yeah, Dorado and Kalisto.
Yeah,
getting into it. And Talik having to play the peacekeeper. We will see what happens there.
and Metalik took a scary bump. He jumped right over those top ropes to try to do the Hurricane Rana to Cesaro, and like didn't go quite as planned. Hope he's okay.
Miz and Morrison, we're watching this backstage, so I think we're going to see Miz and Morrison versus Cesaro and Shinsuke.
That'll be good.
Yeah, I think so. Lucha House Party. I mean, you're right, Matt. It's the way they've been booked. It's not their talent. I think just the way they've been booked.
Yes.
Yep. It's hard to take them seriously. Jeff Hardy. So AJ took a shot at him earlier when they were fighting off Retribution. Yep. So Jeff Hardy was backstage having his leg checked out, and he'd be wearing a knee brace for that match tonight against AJ Styles for the Intercontinental Championship. We had Kayla with Mandy Rose backstage. So they set it up. It's going to be hair versus hair match. Sonya Deville versus Mandy Rose at SummerSlam. And excited Mandy
tried to basically stop the match from happening. She cut like a promo saying
that's right.
I want to get back to where we once were. I want to see the good. And so, which I immediately obviously said, okay, like maybe they're trying to babyface Sonya up because of she's gotten such real support in real life this week because of what happened. But when we come to find out, that's not the case.
Yeah. Yes. And we'll talk about that. So we have the tag team champions come out to the ring, Bayley and Sasha. And Matt, is this starting to wear a little thin for you? I mean, not due to them not being great, but Bayley and Sasha, they're on Raw, they're on SmackDown. Like, they get more TV time than any other performer. So
what do you mean them not being great?
No, I think that what they did was fantastic. I think their shtick is good, but if we're seeing them twice as much as any other performers in the WWE, it's just going to get old that much faster because we don't get a break.
Or to the average fan, it's brand identification being hammered over their heads to where, in my opinion, because they did this with them, and they've been doing it with them and hammering them down your throat, it actually has been working. And I think for Bayley, for instance, it's paid huge dividends. I think with all these reps she's gotten as this heel, all right, it's actually worked. Usually when you ram people down fans' throats, it turns everybody off and it doesn't work. Either X-Pac heat as a heel or as a face, you're being booed. It's worked here, in my opinion. I think they both have done exceptionally well. Seriously.
Oh, I think they're doing great work.
And I wasn't a fan of either one at first. Not a fan. Not a fan. I like Bayley as a face. Bayley's my female John Cena. I'm still waiting for that company to cash in on one of these days, merchandise-wise. So hopefully when she flip-flops back to a face, it'll be gangbusters for her, and they'll stay the hell out of her way and let her be herself.
So with this segment tonight, they're trying to determine who's going to face Asuka first at SummerSlam because Bayley is facing her for the SmackDown to defend her SmackDown Women's title. Sasha's facing her to defend her Raw Women's title. So Naomi came out and they had a beat the clock challenge to see who could beat Naomi first. And first was Naomi versus Sasha Banks. Naomi tapping out at 3 minutes 39 seconds, but then Naomi beating Bayley when it was Bayley's turn.
That was awesome. That part I loved. I did like that. Even though I don't like to see Bayley lose, love seeing Naomi being the one to do it, though.
Justin, do you think this makes Bayley more of a favorite to win or makes her more vulnerable? Because, I mean, Oscar beat her on Raw a couple weeks ago, losing to Naomi tonight. I mean, if someone's going to lose their title on Sunday, I think it feels like Bayley's more vulnerable.
Yeah, I do feel like Bayley's more vulnerable. I think that she has thrived so much in this heel role that they're going to keep that going, and that Sasha will be whenever. I mean, I think they initially planned for it to be SummerSlam because SummerSlam was going to be in Sasha's backyard. They've obviously extended this on now. Whenever they decide to pull the trigger of having these two split and feud against each other again, I think Sasha's more fit to be the babyface right now. I think, like Matt said, this heel run's working for Bayley, and I would really wait until you turn her back to Bayley. I would wait until you have fans again for real until Bayley ever goes back to being a babyface.
Steve Marcuccioli, $2.99 super chat. Reign, Cena, or Wyndham Bray Rotunda as the leader of Retribution?
No, I want Bray. I want Bray's brother to play the Fiend character somehow.
I think that's going to happen, or I thought that's where they were going tonight with what happened with the way it ended. I thought we were going to see Bray and the Fiend together at the same time.
Me too.
I'll tell you what, I have a hard time believing they'd get Cena, but at the same point, with the viewership having dipped and all the controversy we've seen, I mean, Hollywood movies aren't necessarily in full production or anything right now because of the pandemic. So if there's ever a time where like Vince was going to call Cena and say, "Look, I really need you right now. I don't have Roman because of health concerns."
But boy, how would Vince say it, Justin? That's not how he would phrase it.
John, listen, pal. Really need to do a favor here. We're gonna make a movie. It's gonna be called Retribution. And you know who it stars? John Cena in the Thunderdome. Something like that.
That was terrible.
Yet also brilliant. Matt Molo, $5 super chat to say Glenn is the greatest. Thank you, Matt.
Oh, please.
Appreciate
Matt Molo, you've never written here or chimed in one single time. That's Glenn's mom.
My mom would not even watch this podcast.
Much less give Raj $5.
Yeah, seriously. So Terry Allen Jr., $3.20 super chat. Hey, he's getting creative with it. Current Randy, Age of Orton, which is supreme?
Current Randy, Age of Orton.
Oh, he's asking which like
which era,
which time of Randy Orton's performance, like now or the.
It might be now. Although I dug his stuff with what do you call it? Evolution.
Yeah.
When he broke off and became a babyface, believe it or not, I thought that was pretty strong.
It's hard to pick. The Legend Killer stuff was great. Evolution was great. Even him, this kind of gets forgotten about. Even him leading what was Legacy with Cody and Ted Jr. at time. I don't know, like that. Randy just doesn't really miss. He's just
no.
He was kind of
for the longest time, people thought he was the most boring wrestler alive. Remember that phase?
When he came back in 2016, it did seem like he was phoning it in for a while.
Him phoning it in is better than 90% of what that roster can do.
Here's what I think. Here's the thing. What I've always thought about Randy that I think that maybe hurt a little bit with his booking, he accomplished literally everything so young. By the time he got to 30, he had literally done it. He had won a Rumble, been the youngest champion, fought Taker at Mania, he did everything. There was no title, there was no nothing that he hadn't done. So it was like, okay, what now?
24/7.
Yeah, right.
That's true. Jonathan Prado, $4.99. Were y'all not sports entertained with the Thunderdome tonight? Overhyped to say the least. I do think they may have oversold it a little bit.
I loved it. I'm sorry. Now I got to switch because you guys took forever to get through the show and my battery's low.
My apologies, Mr. Morgan.
I'm honest.
Timothy, we're 32 minutes into the podcast, Matt. Come on.
No way. No way.
Yeah.
It's 32 minutes.
There's a timer.
There's a timer on your screen.
Go. Oh. Ignore that timer. I don't believe it.
Matt's like, we got to wrap this up in 30 minutes on Fridays. I got shit to do. Timothy LaFleur, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Justin Lopez, $2. Bailey is definitely hitting a year as champion. Yes. I don't know. I don't know. Sunday I could see if someone's going to lose. I could see it being her. Antoine Fair, to that point, $5, saying that's why the opposite happens and Sasha loses.
Yep.
Possible. And so the next match after that tonight, Asuka was there taunting the champs. They got into it. We left there with Bailey checking on Sasha Banks. Jeff Hardy backstage, clearing Jeff to go as long as he can deal with the pain tonight. Sonya Deville. Okay, so let's talk about the Sonya Deville segment, Justin. So what'd you think of this?
It was good. So yeah, so she first the interviewer comes up to her and is like, "Hey, what do you think about Mandy?" And then Dana Brooke, and she's like, "I'll tell the world." Dana Brooke comes up, tries to say, "I'm sorry for everything that happened to you this week." She slaps Dana Brooke. She's like, "It's nothing I can't handle. That's disrespect." She comes out and she basically cuts the promo, and they're taking us a booking change here. She says she doesn't. It's not going to be hair versus hair because with hair or no hair, she can't stand Mandy Rose. She says this is going to be a match at Sunday, no DQ. Loser leaves WWE. This is only speculation, but I think when it was going to be hair versus hair, Sonya was going to lose. You're not going to cut Mandy Rose's blonde hair. Sonya's going to change her hair and whatever. The fact they're doing that, they've changed this now 2 days prior to a loser leaves WWE, given what Sonya in real life went through and is going to continue to go through with that terrible stalking and home invasion situation. My speculation might led to believe that they're doing this because I think she's going to take some time away.
You think Sonya is?
I think Sonya is. Yeah, I mean, Mandy's been a hot babyface push, and like I said, I think Sonya was going to lose anyways. And if they obviously are not babyfacing Sonya, they had a chance tonight, but she's stuck heel. So I think, given what happened this week, I would just think if it's loser leaves WWE, she's maybe asked the office, I need to get out of the public eye for a little bit. Again, that's all my speculation. I've heard nothing. That's just based upon how they did tonight. So
that's pretty good. It's pretty good insight. Your thought on it? I mean, I thought maybe Mandy would leave and then Otis would trade in his Money in the Bank briefcase to keep her in WWE. But that changes. That change is interesting. Yeah, isn't it crazy that Sonya story? I mean, thank God she's okay, and thank God that guy is in jail. But I mean, that got more mainstream press than almost anything I can think of in recent memory with wrestling.
Well, and who was the person that she fled away with to escape that cycle?
Yeah.
Mandy Rose. So again, when Mandy cut that babyface promo saying, I just want to get back to where we were, I thought, okay, they're going to scrap this match because it's going to be hard to sell these two having heat with each other on a match when we've all felt so deeply about their safety. But no, they're going to do the match. And I'm assuming the fact you'd add that stipulation, it's
okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nikki Cross says Alexa not acting herself. She seems different. We shall see how that develops. But let's talk about the Intercontinental title match. Jeff Hardy versus AJ Styles tonight. Jeff trying to use that knee brace, or AJ, pardon me, trying to use that knee brace. It backfiring on him, and Jeff picking up the win tonight, becoming the new Intercontinental champ. I didn't see this coming. I didn't think this was going to happen on TV.
Me either. What the hell? What is the purpose of this? Jeff Hardy's not needed, although people can argue AJ didn't need the Intercontinental title either, but I don't get this. I
think it was something big to do on Thunderdome. They wanted a title switch.
Yeah, but are you excited by it?
I want to be, and Jeff's interview after, I mean, I think Jeff Hardy is a super likable guy.
Oh, yeah. He is.
Very complicated. He's obviously had a lot of issues. Even said tonight a year ago with everything he was going through, he never thought he'd win the title again, given the dark place he was in. I mean, I feel like,
that's all good. That's
yeah,
so true. Very good. Yeah.
Yeah, Glenn, I think you're right. I think it was just something they did just to have a good headline. Because I otherwise I would be surprised that they do this not on a pay-per-view. I thought it was a creative finish, though. I thought having Jeff, who's wearing this knee brace, who AJ's ripped his pants and since exposing Jeff's knee brace, and Jeff, as he's trying to fight to get out of the Styles Clash, uses that knee brace to the head of AJ Styles, but it's not a DQ because it's not a weapon. It's part of his ring gear, and then that gives him the chance to go do the swanton. I thought that's creative. It's this whole time AJ is the one who pulled this piece of ring gear out to expose, and Jeff got to use it, and it's still no foul play. I thought that was creative. Don't see that often, so I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about the Firefly Funhouse tonight. Bray Wyatt warning us about the dangers of love. It's a horrible thing. Showing us a little skit of Alexa Bliss and Braun Strowman, which then he interrupted because he didn't like the way the skit was going. I thought the single best part tonight was when Bray took the phone call on his hand in the middle of the Firefly Funhouse segment. I like that they're doing some weird stuff with this again.
This was awesome. I love this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hated when Seth Rollins infiltrated the Funhouse last fall because Seth Rollins shouldn't, but I'm okay with Bray doing it because with Braun, because Braun and Corey Graves sold us too. Braun has been in Bray's world, so if anybody was going to be able to get into this place, Braun would have the ability to.
Yeah, so Braun showed up, beat the crap out of Bray, brought him out of the Funhouse. I'm just going to pretend this was like a Freddy Krueger thing and somehow brought him out into the real world, woke up from a dream or something. I don't know. Beat up Bray backstage. Bray got loaded into an ambulance. They took their time with it. And then, oh no, the ambulance is backing up. What's going on? It stopped. And Bray was loaded into the ambulance. The Fiend exited the ambulance and we went off the air. So very horror movie ending. Which I think, Matt, to your point, I think the start of the segment and the end of the segment made up for Braun finding the physical location of this and the fight inside of there.
I do too. I thought it made up for it. I agree with that. Yep. That's what I thought, actually.
It was cool having the Fiend reemerge out of the ambulance, but I got to say, it took so long with Adam Pearce, the guy in the suit, just screaming at the ambulance, go, go, go. Why are you coming back? That was long and drawn out. But otherwise, the concept was awesome. Was awesome on paper.
Yeah. So, did we lose Matt?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, well, let's hit some of these super chats, and then we'll wrap up SmackDown when Matt comes back. John Cena's bald spot, $5. A heel reigns as leader of Retribution would be a hot story, but WWE would screw it up in 2 weeks. P.S. Here's my weekly contribution to Raj's bank account. Thank you, John Cena's bald spot, for the super chat. We'll see. I think Retribution could die immediately after the reveal if it's not satisfying and they don't take it in an interesting direction.
We've seen that before.
I want to know, why do we think John Cena has a bald spot?
Well, he's got this little avatar. Look at his little user thing. He's got that photo right there of John Cena's bald spot.
I don't believe that's real.
Huh.
Matt's like, the bald spots will work, brother.
Yeah. Matthew Hiladio, $5. I think Bailey beats Asuka first with the help of Sasha, then Asuka beats Sasha after Bailey accidentally cost Sasha the match.
I could see that, actually.
Yeah, potentially. So I gotta scroll back up and get the rest of these super. Good Lord, you people with the money! Raj Giri's just sitting home right now, just lighting cigars with dollar bills. Justin Lopez, $10. Sonya needs time to heal, so I agree with the loser. I agree with the loser leaves WWE stipulation. Hopefully, the situation hasn't turned her off so much that she does actually return. She's been killing it these last few months. I didn't even thought of that. I mean, with Sonya, has Sonya done any press or really talked about this? I think she gave a statement. I mean, tonight
she had to show. She had to show up in court, and she wrote. They all the details we got about this guy and what he had in possession, and how Sonya said she grabbed Mandy and they went to the garage in the car to get out, and the guy went upstairs. That's where he thought, like, all that came from Sonya in her official statement. But no, she didn't do any interviews. This is just all court document stuff.
Got it. I mean, I think that's the thing. I mean, maybe people would just assume. I mean, Sonya, given her background as an MMA fighter, that, I mean, obviously she is a really tough person. She can handle herself, but you still do have to think, regardless. I mean, Matt, if something like this happened to you, you know, even with your size, like, you would be shaken by this. You know, it doesn't matter how tough you are. Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right, there's a lot of static. Listen, so I missed out. Tell me really quick what happened. Was she kidnapped, somebody said, or something?
No, he was going to kidnap her.
A crazy fan that had been obsessed with her online for a while. Came from South Carolina, found her home address in Florida, and he staked out on her porch, was watching her in her house, watched her go to sleep. They even found after the fact, he sent a social media post saying, "I'm on your porch right now. I'm going to whatever."
Oh my God!
He breaks into the house. Her security system goes off. She then gets to the point to where her and him are within, I don't know how close. She sees him, but she sees him now start to go towards her. And now she's like, okay, this is not a robbery. This is somebody coming to hurt me. She flees, is able to get Mandy, who Mandy happened to be at her house that night because Mandy is, I guess, a real life friend of hers. And they flee and they're able to get to the car. Well, it's dark and everything's going on. I guess this guy ended up going, the intruder ended up going upstairs. He thought she ran upstairs, when in fact she got outside of the car. She fleds away, obviously calls police. When the police get there, he's still in the house, the intruder. He admits he's there with mace, zip ties, and a lot of other things. He admit that he was going to take control of her, hold her hostage until she answered all the questions that he had. And so that's the cliff notes, all the details on Wrestling Inc. But that's so
what the freaking hell?
So her privacy has been insanely violated.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. I had no idea. That is just wow. I mean, wow.
No, and that's what I'm saying, Matt, because I've seen people online speculating. It's like, oh, Sonya could have kicked his ass. And that's my point. It's like, Matt, even you, if this had happened to you, this still would shake you, regardless of whatever physical advantage or self-defense.
Afterwards, rather, yeah, maybe. But the initial fight or flight, stuff that takes over with our adrenaline.
Yeah.
I would destroy the guy, obviously. But afterwards, it would be, holy crap, there was somebody in my home just hanging out, spying on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would definitely shake anybody up.
Yeah, so Sonya said that after the fact, once she learned of this person's name and everything, she typed his, because obviously she's a public figure, she gets a ton of probably DM requests and stuff like that.
And what did she see when she typed it in?
She typed his name in, and she found all these messages that went to like a DMs request folder on Instagram,
which we don't see. Yeah.
And it's just a range of infatuation, suicidal, I need you, I hate you, just
yeah, we don't see those, so.
I think that's the thing, man. I mean, we've talked about this before, but it's like wrestling. I mean, Matt, I think you've spoken this before. It's like wrestlers go through some weird fan interactions. Obviously, it's not all fans, but there's that like 0.0001%. It's scary, and this is proof of that. Why you need to keep your guard up. Talking about that promo, Antoine Fair mentioning that Sonya didn't just slap Dana, she slapped the dog bleep out of her in that backstage segment. Ariane Gomez, $2. I'm going to miss Sonya, though. I think that's the thing. She's been on such a hot streak. This has gotten so much press. I think when she comes back, if she's taking a break, when she comes back, I think she's going to get, be stronger than ever and get just a fantastic push. I think sky's the limit for her still. Of all the women, I mean, I think she could be the next Becky Lynch. In terms of how the fans respond to her. Jackson Callan's $4.99. Just wanted to say much love, boys. Stay safe, stay positive. Thanks, Jackson.
Hey, Jackson.
Thank you.
And Joshua Taylor, $4.99. This is true. I forgot this night. They gave Jeff Hardy the Grammys treatment. They cut his promo short with music tonight.
Yeah,
while he was talking.
Yep, they did.
Dustin Eck, $10. Thank you, Dustin. Here's a big swerve. That creep that almost kidnapped Sonya was part of
no,
it's not in kayfabe, dude. Come on,
dude.
Yeah, like they're not. I'm not going to read the
off.
rest of that. No. Thank you for your money, Dustin, but come on, let's treat this with seriousness and the respect it deserves. Nate Monroe, $1.99. Think Otis will cash in early now with Thunderdome. I forget Otis has that briefcase.
He doesn't carry the briefcase around. It's almost like they're hoping that we forget.
Yes, they are. Because it's stupid.
Okay, let's see what else we got. Sorry, some of the I lost just a couple super chats. They scrolled off. My apologies for that. Justin Lopez, the surveillance camera footage has made its way online from the court hearing. Wow.
Really?
That's insane. I mean, that story, it's just crazy the more details come out about it. But look, for SmackDown tonight, the first Thunderdome era, what did you
grade it?
Yeah, what would you grade this tonight?
I loved it. I'm being dead serious. I thought it was very good. Because the whole setup. I like that they did something different. I love Pyro. I'm a huge mark for Pyro. I gotta give them an 8. 8 out of 10.
8. Wow.
I don't know if we were doing a scale of 10 or letter grades. I'll go B.
I just went number. Why would you not stick with that?
Well, an 8 would be an 80%. That would be a B minus technically.
Fine,
Which isn't that a weird?
Fine, B minus, 8 out of 10.
Guys, isn't that a weird grading system? That like a 70 is a C, that's considered the average, and anything below a 60 is an F. I don't get that. You think
we don't have time to dissect public education and grading systems?
I'm just saying,
like we're 48 minutes in. Matt wants to get over with this.
Fine. Hey, no. Matt, if you no, I think so Megan Harden has a good point in the chat saying, I agree with Matt 100%. Thought it was Roman the first time Retribution debuted, and Rome can use how the company knew his history with the health, but he was the one that made the decision to go home. I don't think they're going to get that real with it. I mean, because Sami Zayn would be fantastic. I think Sami Zayn would be way too real with it.
He could do some real good things with that. I could see that. I'd like to be part of the group, maybe the second or third, but we need a Roman would be immense. Roman Reigns being a heel would be immense.
Yeah, that would absolutely be. Well, and I think that's the hint. I think you'll never see it coming. I think even the way Vince said it tonight, I think he thinks he's being really clever.
He does.
You know?
He does.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. So you guys, okay, so this is going to be interesting. So tomorrow night, the Wrestling Inc. podcast is happening live after NXT TakeOver and after AEW. So it's going to be you, Matt. It's going to be, are you on tomorrow night?
It's going to be Matt.
Which one am I doing?
I think, I think it's one podcast. I think it's Matt, Raj, and Sam Adonis tomorrow night.
Yeah, Sam Adonis, the new sweetheart of the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Everyone loved him on Wednesday.
Glenn doesn't like it. Glenn was hoping to see tons of Twitter feeds of Glenn, we missed you. Come back. You did get lots of that, by the way. Why can't we just call him Sam? Why does he have to be Sam Adonis?
I'm trying to get him over. He's got a new Twitter account because his last one got deactivated. So at Real Sam Adonis.
Really?
Yeah, at Real Sam Adonis, or he works for here in Pittsburgh and Warrior Wrestling in Chicago. I'm trying to get his name over.
What? Really quick, what happened with his Twitter?
You have to ask him.
Oh, okay. I can't wait to ask him that. Yeah, he did a good job though.
He did.
He's not watching the product and whatnot, and came out to watch it, and that's pretty. I thought he did a good job.
No, the next morning, Matt, he texts me and goes, "I had a lot of fun. It was so fun with you and Matt." He goes, "But how the hell are you guys watch both shows when AEW and NXT are on?"
That's why it was cool to watch NXT in its full, entirety, without being distracted for once.
Yeah.
And I mentioned this on social media because people were asking, but no, look, I made the decision just to stop doing Wednesdays because I think what we get to do tonight, what we get to do on Monday, it's a little more laid back. It's a little more my style. I feel like on Wednesdays, it's just really tough to watch two shows simultaneously and then talk about two shows simultaneously. I don't
know how I'm going to host when AEW returns to Wednesday. I don't know how I'm going to host. I'm a little fearful of having a host to set the match.
Hey, Justin, do you mind driving?
Nobody else gets that except for the three of us.
Nope.
Right over the head.
Yeah, I need a break, guys. I mean, I'll come back.
You don't want to drive anymore, Glenn? You don't want to drive anymore on Wednesdays? No?
It's so much work, Matt. It's so much work. and the AEW fans think I'm a WWE mark. The NXT fans think I'm an AEW mark.
Yes, it goes both ways. I've seen that too with me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I get it. Doing both shows makes sense because people want to talk about it right away. But I think that it's tough to please all people on Wednesdays, man. I like getting to do Fridays.
We definitely shortchange one, if not both shows, usually, in my opinion, because of that.
Yeah.
But we definitely are more heavy AEW, in my opinion, if I'm being honest.
We've done NXT first, maybe like 3 or 4 times, but whatever one we do second is the one that we shortchange because we've spent so much. Because whatever one we spent so much detail on the first one, that's the one we interpreted more of it. I mean, even if I have 2 screens up, it's still you can only.
Yeah, it'll be like oh my god, it'll be like a huge main event for NXT. Like we should totally be putting like 15 minutes dive into. I'm like, yeah, it was good. Matt, what'd you think? Oh, it was good. I liked it.
Speaking of NXT, real quick, again, you get the full breakdown on WrestlingInc.com. But NXT, Matt, did do its best viewership of the calendar year so far.
Wow,
it did 853,000 viewers. That's up 38% from last week when they did 619. So being unopposed certainly helped them.
Yes, it says there's wrestling fans that are out there watching that AEW takes some of the WWE fans away.
And that all important key demo. NXT
50 and over.
Looking for their new Nas album on Napster. NXT's 18 to 49 demo. They did a 0.24. That's up 50% from the week prior.
Wow.
So that is
crazy.
Good stuff.
Joey Dorjan pointing out, he said that one person should watch NXT, one person should watch AEW. Yeah, we talked about that. The problem is we all want to watch both.
We want to watch both.
Yeah, nobody wants to feel left out.
That was Joey. That was the initial idea, is when it was going to be 4 of us with Raj included, and 2 were going to watch. Yeah, and it's just.
I don't want to miss it. I want the option to see both, and if like Chris Jericho's doing something crazy or whatnot, I don't want to have missing that because I'm watching something on NXT or vice versa. I want the ability to see both.
John Nelson has the craziest idea, saying Retribution's led by Ronda Rousey. That I would literally never see coming. That seems like a big waste of Ronda Rousey.
Yeah. I wouldn't see it coming. Doesn't mean necessarily that's good. I mean, I could be the leader of Retribution. No one would see that coming. Doesn't mean that's good.
Arian Gomez, $2. I'm so happy the Hardy's a champ after the drinking story with Sheamus. Yeah, I think this is this whole thing's been a good redemption arc. I think this will be good for him. But hey, so tomorrow night, Matt Morgan, Sam Adonis, and Raj Giri talking about NXT TakeOver and AEW Dynamite tomorrow night. Sunday night, I don't know who I'm podcasting with. Matt, are you here Sunday for SummerSlam?
Yes.
I think it's us 3 Sunday night.
Us 3 Sunday night. There you go. SummerSlam, you'll never see it coming. Never.
Bye, guys.
See you later, Matt. I'm going to wrap this up, but quickly, Brian Berry, $4.99. Why didn't The Fiend just attack Vince? And who wins Sunday, Braun or Bray? Matt Morgan, who wins?
Bray.
Bray.
On
that note, he's at BP Matt Morgan. He's at Justin LaBar. I'm at Glenn Rubenstein. We'll catch you back here on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.